Hello gang, hello friends, I don't know why I'm laughing. Thanks for joining me today. Shall we paint a zombie cat? Thank you for being here with me. If you have been here with me before, you will know that we have done Hello Kitty's pumpkin and Hello Kitty as a skeleton. Today we're going to do something less cute, way less cute. We're going to do her as a zombie. We're starting with Angelic Salami, Angelic Salami, Angelic Sonata, and Healing Glam, both from Madame Glam, and we're going to do an ombre using their ombre brush. You can get 30% off at Madame Glam using the link in the description and the code MISSJO30. Loads of links in there, always check them out. Money off for some really great nail places. Well, I was just thinking of something that I had to say before we got to the character bit. What was it? I don't know. Oh yes, so I got a bit carried away with this. I'll explain why in a sec, but yeah, it's let me know if you want a more straightforward one. Not that I really feel like painting another Hello Kitty zombie, but I got carried away. Here's why. I googled zombie Hello Kitty and saw a bunch of really cool pictures and decided that I liked the bow, the skull bow of that one, and the mouth, bloody mouth of that one, the ripped mouth, and I liked the brains of that, and I also liked the skeleton arm of that. So, and I liked her being green. So instead of picking one to try and copy, I decided to put them all in one together, which, I don't know, it's a bit much. But we're going to start with, right, ready? Okay, you sitting comfortably? Good. Are you not? I mean, that's fine also. We're doing a rectangle, and then we're going to curve from each corner to the opposite corner. Opposite? The other side. And the top curves that we've just done, the top and the bottom one, are shallower than the side ones we're going to do. So we get this oval. And that's that. There we go. You're done. Zombie Hello Kitty in the bag. Moving on. What next? And then from each corner of the rectangle, we're going to use that as... What am I doing? Just neatening it up. Right. Okay. Oh, no. Right. We are doing a bit of a line there. We'll come back to that. And then from the corner of each rectangle, we're going to do a little ear. But this one, we're going to cut some out of. So start to bring the two sides up to a point, but don't. And then just do some little zigzags in between the two lines of the side of the ear. And then we'll do a full ear on this side because she's about to look real beaten up. So let's give her at least one thing that's not been ripped to shreds. And then from where the from where the inside line of the ear started, we're going to imagine a line going straight down to the bottom of her face. And from where that would be, we're going to curve to meet our little line that we just plonked on the page nail earlier on. And we can adjust that a bit as we fill it in if we need to. And then from where her body meets her head, we're going to come out in a straight line and then a curve to the body. And then on that straight line, we're going to put another little curve. Hand, paw, done. What we're doing now? Oh, the bow. So I decided to do the skull bow. So we're going to do a little circle under but centered to the ear. And then at the bottom of that little circle, a little square. Skull shape. And then her bow, we're going to come out from the skull. But the top corner of this bow triangle, we're going to have a chunk out of it, and then we'll have a chunk out of the bottom corner of this side that we're doing now. So we'll come down a bit, but stop. And this one will go up a bit, but stop, because we'll leave those to be a bit raggedy And then under her face, into her body, we're just going to do just scratchy cut out thing. She's going to be wearing a dress. So this will be where the neck of the dress has been ripped or something. No, doesn't have to be fancy. Just jaggedness. And then from where the body comes out, we're just going to bring it out a little bit further each side, following the straight line. So before it curves, you just keep going a bit. And then again, we're going to do sort of lots of little V's, but purposefully kind of maybe wiggle your, you know, when you squeeze your hand, but then tense the muscle so it shakes a little bit. Do that, because you don't want it perfect V's, because it's going to look ripped. So just, yeah, doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be imperfect. Okay, it has to be. It will only be perfect if it's imperfect. And then again, we're going to do a sort of jaggedy cutout shape at the bottom right of her face. This is where her skin's been ripped off. So again, it doesn't need to be neat, and it definitely doesn't need to be symmetrical. And then this top corner here, we're doing a little scalloped U shape around the corner, around the top of her head, because that's going to be where her brains are. And then after much deliberation between 3 different greens, I've picked this one. This is called Airy Season. And we're going to fill in all the bits that are her skin, her fur, obviously excluding where we've ripped her to shreds. So we'll exclude this top corner and the opposite, diagonally opposite bit where her mouth's going to be all fucked up and her ear, making it a little ziggy-zaggy bit there. And where I've got enough product on the sort of center of her face, I'm kind of using that as my palette, because you want it to be, you know, you don't want to put polish on too thick. I think because I'm using polish and not gel paint, I can't remember if I did 2 coats or not. If it doesn't need a second coat, don't do a second coat. But if it does, then do. I'm full of wisdom, I know, I'm so helpful. With the bottom bit, where her sort of legs are sticking out here, where we had that straight curve going across the bottom, I kind of bring it down. I make it a little bit scalloped, this bit here. So I'll come down a little bit so that the middle of where her legs are, or her feet are, it goes up in a tiny little dip, in a little upside down V, you know? Okay, cure that. Now we're taking Royal Pink, and we're going to do her dress. I decided to add some more arm on the right. Some more arm. There is none there. A little bit of arm on the right in green. So we will address that in a moment. So just filling in the dress. This is the whole thing is done with the double trouble brush from Bull Pit Nails. I told you, didn't I? I ordered her polish release. Hasn't arrived yet. I'm not sure how long it'll take. But I'll let you know as soon as they do. I'm very excited. Okay, so we're adding part of an arm here. So we're going to come out there and then go up, almost like an arrowhead, this bit here. So it comes out a little bit and then sort of goes up in a V at the end of it, because we're going to have a bone sticking out. But just a jaggedy end is fine. And then we're taking Pinkster, which, believe it or not, is different to the pink of her dress. Although it doesn't look it from here, but it is a little bit different. And we're going to fill in her brains. So a scalloped the bottom part of that section, and scalloped at the top as well. And then I'm flash curing everything as I go, like everything. I'm taking Baby Nest and red gel paint, and I've mixed them together to give a kind of pinky red. This is going to be all the bloody areas. So we're going to fill in where her face has been ripped apart. She's really been through the mill, poor old girl. Oh, and now her skull. Again, just a... Oh, rats along his back, and when he calls, yeah, it's my brother calling. I'll be back. I'm back. And now I have We Don't Talk About Bruno in my head. So yes, another circle and then just a little square on the bottom. And that is our skull. We're going to add some random green bits on her dress. These are like rips and things. Could have done that to start with, but just kept adding more bits. Like I say, I got carried away, so just kept adding just fiddly faffy bits. Her bow, I'm using what colour? It's a Madame Glam pink. Can't remember what it's called though. Sorry. And not forgetting to leave out gaps at the top of one of the bow triangles and the bottom of another. I do speed up the colouring in bits just because otherwise I'd fill them with nonsense ramblings. So for the bone, we're coming out from that little arrowhead in a straight line with some white gel paint and then adding 2 little circles on the end. I think the one in the picture had like her paw shape in bone form, but that just seemed, I just couldn't be asked. It was very small, so I didn't bother. I just did a little bone. Maybe her hand's been ripped off completely. There we go. And then at the bottom of the brains, we're just going to do some little blood drips and go over the pink a bit into the pink here. And then just some little splashes inside the brain. And some tiny blood dots. But because I ended up outlining all the blood, I have to outline those tiny dots. So maybe make them a bit bigger. Or just not have those tiny flecks. Unless you are willing to go blind outlining them. We're going to put some blood where the bone comes out of the arm and some flecks on the bone. And then some little bits in between, around the sides of where we've made some rips in her dress. And then some more around her mouth. I do cover up a couple of those bits once we do the eyes because they were in the way. Oh, and some more in here. I just wanted her to look really gory, like freshly torn apart by zombies and is now a brand new zombie herself. I want her to enter your nightmares. I don't really want you to have nightmares. Of course not. You're the gang. You're great. Now we're going to start outlining. And this is going to start bringing it all together because at the moment it's kind of difficult to see what's going on. So we've gone zigzaggedy around her ear and we're doing little scallops around her brain at the top and just all the way around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. And then I didn't know at this point whether to outline the blood or not, so I don't think I have. Oh, here I'm going to do little sort of ovals, little bean shapes, not bean shapes, baked bean shapes, Heinz baked bean shapes inside her brain. And then once they're all together, it will kind of just look like all the twisty, lumpy brain shit. So not all going the same way, just in different directions, just lots of little ovals. And now she has a lumpy brain. And for the skull, the side of the outline of the skull is like 2 question marks facing each other. Just coming this side is the normal facing one. So round and then in and then down. And then, or a keyhole. No, more of a question mark. The keyhole is like wider at the bottom, isn't it? It is in like, you know, clip art pictures of a keyhole. And then around her bow, not forgetting that we've left a chunk out there, which I did want to look more ripped, but it's just a chunk. That's all right. But this brush, the double trouble brush, I'm loving it more every time I use it. Because I knew I'd have to use it for a while to get used to it. The flexibility is different to other brushes and things. But I'm loving it. So good for tiny detail. So we've done 2 dots for the eyes and then a little line going across. And I don't know how, but I managed to get, I think I ended up getting 3 lines maybe. I think I only showed 2. Did I add another one? I don't know. For the mouth of the skull, for the teeth. Oh my word, I couldn't see what I was doing because when I put my brush there, it was bigger than the section I wanted to put lines inside. but we did it because it's so nice and thin. And then we outlined, oh no, we did 2 little U shapes either side of the skull head for her bow. Oh, I'm behind. And then I forgot to film, but I outlined the jaggedy mouth. Okay, now we've done a straight line. No, we haven't. We've done a curved white line inside this mouth tear. And on that curved line, we just did little upside down U shapes, tiny ones. Then we added a pointy one at the end. And now we've done another white line just so we know where to go to. And we're doing little V shapes on the end of it. So little humpy ones on top, little humps, and then pointy ones at the bottom. This took quite a few goes because it's so small. But I think it looks quite cool, even though it's absolutely nowhere near perfect. But I think that's quite good because she's a mess. She's not going to have perfect teeth at this point. And now we're outlining, which I nearly went blind when doing this bit here. So we've outlined the humps on top, bringing the black outline into the white a bit to sort of separate the teeth. And then tiny little V's here. Again, when I put my brush down, it covered up, you know, it took up more visual space than what I was trying to outline. So it was a bit tricky, but fun tricky. You know, I was having fun. And now we're going to do some lines in the red area, just random, going in random directions. And then thinner lines in between them, smaller lines in between them. And that's supposed to be muscle. Is it muscle? The bits that look like that? Yeah, just kind of stretched. You know when you see in a film like a skeleton person's face is melting? Or like, is it Two-Face? Whatever his name is from Batman. And you just have all the muscle there. That's what that's meant to be. And I'm using a dotting tool to create her eyes. Just going up and down a tiny bit to get an oval. And now we're going to cover up some of that blood around that eye. Yeah, the eyes always take me ages. That was like 3 or 4 attempts. But then I got the dotting tool and then just literally did tiny bit up, tiny bit down. And you get this oval because it ends it rounded, because you can't really end something on a straight line when you're using a ball to paint with. And now we're going to outline her dress. I have sped up some of the outlines because, oh my word, this was like 2 hours footage. Even though I was sat at my desk for about 5, there was only 2 hours of footage. That's just faffing, that is, and watching films at the same time. We've outlined her arm, and now we're going to outline the zigzags in her dress. How are you all? You all okay? Let me know how you are. I love to hear from you, and I do read all your comments. I was having an anxious few days recently, which is just, you know, unpleasant overall. And I was reading your comments and they made me feel better. You're very powerful. So what you say on people's, what you comment to people is very powerful. So use your powers for good, not evil. And then outlining the arm and the bone. And then we're doing a straight line down the center of the green bit at the bottom. And then we're going to curve out to make her Legos. And I think I went a bit inside the green because I thought I'd done her legs too wide. So I think I covered over that with some purple, the bits that were on the outside of the outline. Yeah? Yeah. And then we're going to outline. This was when I decided to outline the blood, which I think looks okay. But it just added an extra level of faffiness. So we're going to outline the hole in her dress and also outline the blood. I just think it looked, especially coming out of the brain, I think it looked a bit lost not being outlined. Although now maybe it does look okay. Oh, well, I've done it now. So we're going to very carefully outline all the bits of blood, like that tiny bit there. And then the even tinier bit after this drip. I could have made the dot bigger, but there you go. It was a little challenge for myself, But again, made a lot easier with this brush. But it's definitely, I was just having so much fun faffing. So, I was watching a film called A Million Miles Away about Jose Hernandez, which was really good. And I was just having fun. Oh, and then we're adding a jaggedy line down her head. That's it, nice and easy. Just zigzaggy line. I don't know, his skull's being cracked. Aww. Poor thing. And now I wanted to add more because I thought, oh, I'm done. But I just wasn't ready to be done. So we're going to cover what I suppose would be her foot with some blood and then make it kind of puddle at the bottom just with some, the word just fell out my head. Some like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just some, I don't know, some curved lines making the I've just powered down. I'm really sorry. Just doing some wiggly lines to make a pool of blood and taking it up over her feet. I can't think of the word that I went to use. And then the bits that are on the foot, I'm going to outline and re-outline the bottom of her feet because I want to do some more of these muscles, which are just a couple of straight lines and then some little lines in between that don't go all the way through both the lines. They're shorter, they finish short, they stop short. There we go. To make them sort of stretchy bits in the muscles. I'm sorry. Anything that happens after 20 minutes, I take no responsibility for because it's a long time to just talk. So my brain decides, like, look, we've had enough talking. We're just going to throw nonsense at you now. You're only going to be able to form incoherent gibberish. Outlined the pool of blood, and now we're doing some blood drips. So I'm going to press my brush on the nail and then let it sort of let the product, maybe give it a bit of a wiggle just to let most of the product come off the brush, and then really lift off the pressure as you come up so you get a thin line coming up. Really, really lift off the pressure and just stretch all the way up to the top. And then we'll do a line across the top, and then we're going to curve out between all the drips and then add some gloopy bits in between. I didn't know what to put all around her because the skeleton one had bones, the pumpkin one had pumpkins. I thought, well, I'm not going to draw a bunch of tiny zombies around her. So we went for blood. And here, in between the drips, I'm going to do some gloopy bits. But then you do need to then curve the gloopy bits to the drips. You always want blood to come down from a curve. You don't want the drip to start from, there's no right angles in blood drips. There we go. And then I'll do the same. I did try doing splatters at the bottom half, but I didn't like it. So I decided to do blood drips at the bottom as well, but going upwards, which really I don't like it. Some people get nail art to face themselves. Lunatics. You want it facing for people to see. And when people do blood drips, so they're coming up the nail like we're going to do at the bottom of this one, I don't know what just makes me want to peel, makes me want to look like this kitty. I just want to peel my skin off. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't drip up. But that's what we're going to do. I'm taking BPCA06 from Born Pretty. This is a must-have. It's so good. You can get money off using a link in the description and the code in the description as well. All their jelly polishes are so good for shading and things. So without mixing it with anything, I'm just going to go at the center bits of the bow and just kind of fade it out a bit. Not a perfect fade, a scratchy fade. And then I decided to get faffy. I don't think I needed to do any of these steps from here on out, but I was, again, just enjoying myself and wanted to keep going. So we're going to do little shaded bits inside where the dress is ripped, just to make it look, I don't know. Just to give it a bit more dimension. We'll do a line under where the head is. There's a little shadow onto her body. We went down the middle of the leg line. I don't know why. And then we're going to go to the right, right of each of the dress straggly bits. The zigzaggy bits. Tears, there we go. With a bit of shadow, just to, just gives it more dimension. Decided to go down the right side of her fracture. So it looks a bit deeper into the skin, into the head. Tiny bit on the skull, no reason, just a spattering. This is what happens when you're just content painting. You get a bit scissor happy, but with a paintbrush, brush happy, and just start adding bits. So we're adding shading to the right of everything. So the right of each of these drips. Wait, let me check again. Yes, it's definitely right. And then I think that I do like this bit though. It kind of lifts them off the page a bit. But then I add some to around her mouth tear, and I'll talk about it when we get there. How's about that? We've outlined the blood beforehand before doing this. I'm going to do the same on the bottom and with those two drips. And then let's put a shadow under here. Why not? I really need to sort of, I understand the basics of how light works and where shadows would and wouldn't be, but I kind of just ignore all that when I'm doing nails and just stick a bunch to the right. So going down the ear and down that side of the face. Realised there was a chunk of her head missing. There we go. And then I've mixed white gel paint with the green of her skin. And we're going to go down the left side. So the left side of her face and the left side of her arm and paw. Round into the thumb, which I think I end up just bringing that straight down and covering the whole thumb. And then curving round. And when you want it to finish, sort of wisp off. But wisp off neatly in line with the outline. Don't wisp off like a lunatic. Careful, precise, precision wisping is what we're after. And then thought I was finished. No, let's add some of the black jelly to this side of the dress as well. This side of the arm, the right side. And then mix the dress pink with some white and go down the left side. Yeah, am I doing too much? Did I get a bit carried away? Is she looking just messy? I didn't want her to look messy, but she is very small and there's quite a lot going on. I've mixed white with the... oh no, I think I was just using the same one I used for the dress, just to do the outsides of the bow. Just a little highlight. I don't know. Oh, this bit. So I outlined the mouth tear. And you know what I should have done? I should have done this bit. As in, when I say outlined, I mean I'm shading this bit. But I should have done the outline of the mouth tear above this shading. Outlined that shading. Because the shadow would be on the inside, wouldn't it? Where it's like flappy skin. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. Would have looked better, but it's fine. It's fine. And then outlining the tiny bits of blood on the bone and her arm. And that's it. Guess what I forgot? Can you tell what I've forgotten? I don't know whether to go and add it. I don't think I can be asked. Let me know in the comments if you know what I've forgotten. And I didn't add any highlights to the blood either. To the blood drips. But there you go. I think that's enough. The bits I've forgotten, I think, can stay forgotten. Let me know what you think of her in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts. Is she a bit too faffy? She does look cool though, doesn't she? I think she might be the coolest thing I've painted. I hope you like it anyway. Let me know if you prefer the simpler ones. I just got carried away. I got carried away. So there she is with her sisters, her much cuter sisters. She actually went on to murder them both. So yeah, that was unfortunate. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It's Wednesday, so I need to hurry up and get this uploaded. I hope you're all okay. I appreciate you being here so much. I really, really do. Come back. I'll be back again soon. You should be too. You should be. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.